Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. We have a day to celebrate today. We just crossed the 300,000 subscriber mark. We're going to commemorate that with a small song. But before that, let's welcome the guest of the evening, Abhijit Iyer-Mitra. He goes by a different name these days. Let's allow him to introduce himself under his new avatar. Abhijit ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Hari Om.
He is now Mahaprabhu Swami Sri Satvikananda. And well, he's got another moniker, you know that one. But let's first celebrate the milestone that PGurus just crossed, 300,000 subscribers on our way to 1 million. And you can help by liking this video at this moment because there is a musical extravaganza coming your way. We'll show you how we got here, how many big hits we got. Let's have the music, please. Thank you so much, and I hope you all liked this video. We are up already at 300 mark for viewers. I hope to see 300 likes also. We'll keep you posted on this like versus views count. Abhijit, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How do you feel, my friend?
I feel very good that your 300,000 viewers has coincided with me losing 12 kilos.
12 kilos?
Yes.
Really?
You're
I'd love to
actually
see
not
that.
celebrating 300,000 viewers, you're celebrating my 12th kilo loss.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
By the way, that music was very good. Did you have it commissioned?
Yes, it is. We have a series of 1 minute and 20-second sound bites that we are using exclusively for PGurus purposes. This was based in Rag Kalyani, also called Yaman in Hindustani. Remember, Jab Deep Jale Aana, Nav Kalpana, Navanar Ki, Shobha Badi Sansar Ki. Lots of songs. You know, Yaman is like
I know
all over
Yaman.
the place.
I know
Yes.
Yaman Kalyan. Sorry.
So this is something that we really like to do. We are doing a gentle introduction to all our viewers of India's beautiful, beautiful classical music, whether it's Carnatic or Hindustani, doesn't matter. They were first to find out that, you know, the ear had some sensitivity to do some scales and less on the others, much more sophisticated than the Western classical system. So we try to introduce this thing gently and keep you all interested because all our music, the things that we listen to during the day are all based on these constructs. So here we go. First question, please. There are so many questions that our editor is a bit overwhelmed, but he's pulling it up. Of course, it's possible that he may have lost power, so I'm going to pull it up. Just give me 1 second here. Rahul Rathod, again, he has beat everybody else. Oh, sorry. I'm completely remiss. Let's talk about Jack Dorsey. Have you heard of Jack in the Box restaurant?
No, I have not.
You've not heard of Jack in the Box? It's a food chain in the US.
I've never heard of it. Is it any good?
I don't know. I don't eat there, but this is Jack out of the box with a toolkit. What do you think of this? Why
So
is Jack?
The place is called In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes.
Whatnot. So I don't go to chains in America. At most, I'll go to the only chain I ever go to when I land up in America, just to remind my palate, is go and have a Whopper at Burger King.
Oh, I see. Well, we are talking about things that are not very familiar to me. I do eat at In-N-Out. I do eat at Chipotle. I do eat at some of the other chains. Rarely, Anyway, Pizza Hut, and so on and so forth. Let's take on this thing. Jack Dorsey. Why is this guy jumping up and down like a jack now?
Okay, so first, Sagar Enjeti is a friend, right? So I asked him what the hell was up. And he was like, dude, look, I wasn't prepared for the question.
Hmm.
He made these statements. And I kind of knew something was wrong, but I didn't have the facts there to counter him right there. Jack lied. Okay. Now, I don't think he's particularly clued in because he had so many excess employees. This would be everything that shrew, what's her name? The woman who looks like a witch,
Vijaya.
Vijaya
Vijaya.
Gadde, would have told him. This is things she would have basically gotten in and then just given him the executive summary on. So I suspect he's just clueless, like he didn't know a lot of shit that happened under his watch, or he knew and he's deliberately lying.
No, he was running multiple companies. He was also running Square.
Yeah, so that's what I said. He could
Hmm.
be genuinely ignorant and based on what Vijaya Gadde was saying, or he could actually be pretending and lying.
Well, which part of his statement do you think is he lying about? About the raids
Everything.
at the employees' houses, or
Everything.
yeah?
You know, in that same interview, he says that he got called to Congress where he was only asked to give yes or no comments without context. Yet he made a statement that, oh, on farmers' protests, we were asked to take down tweets. He did not give you context. What was the context? That was 26th of January on Republic Day when they went and stormed the Red Fort, which was a 6th January style event. Now, 6th January, he goes and he himself takes down Trump's this thing without any goading or provocation or whatever. But here he refuses to do it. For people who are saying that Sikhs are being genocided, come out and protest and this and that. Right? So this is number one. So by his own this thing, it's dumb. Second, he said that the premises of the office would be raided. They were not. A notice was put outside. Then he said, and they proceeded to raid the houses of our executives. They were never raided. Rajiv Chandrasekhar has come out and stated that emphatically, but they were never raided.
Now, two things. There was a guy called Raheel Khurshid who was the Twitter India head, and it was very controversial because he was giving blue tick to all and sundry of one particular
He
leading.
would look, he would go around, he would breach Twitter rules. Do you know that? He used to go around giving blue ticks to every 5 follower, 10 follower terrorist amplifier in the valley. Quite a few of the people that he personally gave blue ticks to, because I know them, as in he knows them, ended up being put in jail on terrorist charges on one reason or the other. Okay. Next, he blatantly violated Twitter rules because if you notice, before he becomes Twitter chief, he is interacting with one account of Shehla Rashid, which gets permanently suspended. Then he becomes Twitter chief, and then Shehla Rashid comes back with another account, which he then proceeds to give blue tick. Now, first of all, ban evasion itself is a permanent ban crime. On top of that, he not only allows her to come back knowing, because he's interacted both with her previous account and her second account, he also then goes and gives her a blue tick.
Where is he these days? He's back in the US, or
Apparently, he's in penury. He started up some fraud artificial intelligence thing before the last UP election with some fraud from Norway. And they obviously, anybody who saw it knew it wasn't AI. And they claimed it was AI prediction of methods, and they were predicting a Samajwadi Party landslide. And we all know how that went. So since then, he seems quite desperate. He's dropped off the radar.
oh, this is extreme leanings. I mean, it's just But why doesn't Mr. Jack Dorsey touch upon all these things? You need to understand he was the one who put this clown in the first place.
So Jack Dorsey doesn't take responsibility for anything. He likes to play both sides. He likes to pretend to be this, oh, calm, whatever guy. Whereas you look at all the crap that, I mean, you just read the Twitter files that came out. It's a scandal. The amount everybody on Twitter was compromised by being offered up on a silver platter to the FBI and CIA is obscene. Remember,
The thing
he
is,
himself, he took pride in the fact that the Tahrir Square revolution was a Twitter revolution.
the sad part is all of these people have walked away with multi-million dollar severance packages, even though Twitter was losing money hand over fist. What can I say? US is strange
Not the
sometimes.
guy that Jack Dorsey chose as his replacement, the Indian guy,
You
because
mean
he was,
Parag?
huh?
Parag Agarwal?
Yeah, because he was terminated for cause. If you're terminated for cause, you don't get your severance.
I thought his package was 19 million, even then.
I don't
It
know,
depends
but
upon how the contract is written. Even if you're
yeah,
terminated for cause, you may be able to put in a clause
yeah, but
that.
apparently he wasn't going to get the several
Hmm.
millions that he was meant to get.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see how that plays out. Let's go back to questions. And thanks for reminding me, Sachin, for sticking to the main topic, which was going to be Twitter. So let's go to the questions. I got really carried away with our 300,000 subscriber mark and the fact that Abhijit lost so many kilos of weight. Anmol Saxena, thank you so much. After iPhone manufacturing success, is a semiconductor fab possible in India?
Well, I think they're setting up Foxconn, or who's setting up the factory? Some
Yeah,
Taiwanese
Foxconn.
company setting up a factory,
Yeah.
no?
Right,
Yeah.
right, 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 right. Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
It is Foxconn with Vedanta. Vedanta, I don't think they have any prowess in semiconductor manufacturing. Foxconn is a manufacturing powerhouse, not a semiconductor company. They claim that they've got one TSMC exec on their board to do this thing. There is another story that is developing, and we'll keep you posted on this, viewers. Micron Technology. This is based out of Boise, Idaho. The CEO is Sanjay Mehrotra. He had formerly founded this company called SanDisk, which was a flash memory. SanDisk is the storage pioneer, flash memory storage. Now he's the CEO of Micron. Micron also makes memory, dynamic as well as flash, and also some new technologies. I heard that they may be putting up a fab in India. I don't know how true that is. I'll keep you posted on that. Rahul Rathod wants to know, is it possible to reconvert maximum possible minorities to Hinduism if VHP and other organizations take proactive steps? Will their population increase can destabilize in India in future?
Look, imbalances, all imbalances will always destabilize. A male-female imbalance, a demographic imbalance, a religious imbalance, etc., etc. Okay. Now, is it possible to reconvert? Yes, it is. But the thing is, you can't go around doing that with bhajan kirtan. Okay. You set up schools. You set up an incentive system. It has to be done through financial incentives. There is no other way. There is no other way. And that
Mandar
comes through
Karnik,
education, schools, jobs, etc., etc., etc.
next question, please. Mandar Karnik wants to know, what are the benefits of religion and how much reform do you think Sanatan can endure?
Look, religion keeps evolving. Okay. Bronze Age Sanatan Dharma was very different from Iron Age Sanatan Dharma, which is very different from modern day Sanatan Dharma. Um, the benefit of a religion is it's not wokeism. Uh, I did not like religion. I only started liking religion when I saw wokeism. The problem is wokeism comes about in a post-religious society. Religion is something that we've developed a sort of tactile feel for it over the last 10, 12, 15,000 years, probably more. I mean, proto-religion would have probably existed for 40, 50, 60, maybe even up to 100,000 years, possibly, if the Neanderthals had it. And we've learned to negotiate it. It's brought a lot of evil, it's brought a lot of good, but we've learned to negotiate it. But once religion goes away, you have wokeism, you have social control, you have new forms of dogma that are extremely dangerous that we don't know how to control. Something new that you don't know how to control, like a new virus, is much more dangerous than something old which you've gotten accustomed to. So, for example, dahi, yogurt, is a bacteria. If there's a totally new bacteria that comes that kills you, nothing. Whereas dahi is one of the most beneficial things you can eat. It settles your stomach. It's great for health. It's I mean, depending on your body type. Apparently, I'm a body type that does not benefit from dahi. Surprise, surprise, which is to my great disappointment because I love dahi. So it's like that. It depends on these things, but I think the biggest benefit of religion is keeping wokeism out.
Next question, please. Maximilian wants to know what is the right time for you to do a podcast on learnings for India from Russia Ukraine war?
I am not doing a podcast. I'm actually writing a long academic paper on it. And once that's up, then I'll do a podcast about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Next question, please. Teja Mysore. When Bengal was divided, it made East, now Bangladesh and West Bengal. Why wasn't there an East and West Punjab?
Well, there is an East and West Punjab.
No, that is after 1947. I think this happened in 1905, right? Bengal?
Yeah, but no. But Bengal, even after the partition of Bengal, what was the partition of Bengal? It was split into was in, I don't know if Tripura was included. It was split into Bengal, Eastern Bihar, and Odisha and things like that. No, so that was the partition of Bengal. This was different. This was East and West Punjab. You have an East and West Punjab, just like you have an East and West Bengal. And why West Bengal? Name it to Bengal? Yes, I think you should. What's stopping you?
Sachin wants to know, don't you think technologies like UPI and ONDC are anti-capitalist? They make general public lives easy, but not good for those in payment business.
Why? Why, Sachin? I don't understand.
No,
I
I think
think
what
they're,
he's saying is UPI is coming at the expense of Visa and MasterCard, things like that.
but that's not our problem.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
not
our
our
problem. They
problem.
have to evolve. They have to
They have
evolve.
to evolve. Yeah.
Next question, please. Murali Datta Kuchibatla wants to know, is lactose intolerance really a factor of genetics? Europe has high lactose tolerance, and by data, only vegetarians have like high lactose tolerance. Is it because of Aryan European genes?
So there is a genetic paper on this. I read it and I'm not completely convinced because there were lots of question marks in that paper. Uh, Now, it there is a belief that it is genetics, but I doubt that very much. There is certainly something to be said for the Chinese and the Japanese who uh, were supposed to be lactose intolerance, but you go look at the number of new milk-based drinks that come out in China and Japan. It is insane. Like Japanese and Chinese coffee that I've had is some of the best coffee in the world.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
In
And
fact, do you see that it's actually fresh, even though it is kept in a refrigerator kind of hot
yeah,
oven for days on end? I don't know
yeah,
how they manage that.
yeah. And it's totally fresh. It's lovely. Like and even their bakeries, I think Chinese and Japanese bakeries are the best in the world. They beat
My,
out French bakeries any day.
my
Mm.
favorite in Japan is the one that has stuffed cream inside. It's like a
Yeah, yeah.
sausage, but it's got, oh my God, it's so tasty.
But there are lots of them. I mean, there's lots of
Yeah.
funky, fun things that you get in Chinese and Japanese bakeries. So, but Chinese and Japanese milk drinks are truly amazing. So, if they were are they lactose intolerance genetically, or are they culturally lactose indifferent? I don't know. Now, lactose intolerance, as much as I have seen it, is largely a Western phenomenon. I'm increasingly seeing it in India as well. And I'm sitting there going, boss, when I was growing up, there was no such thing as lactose intolerance. What the hell is this lactose intolerance? So, I'm really not comprehending this sudden increase in intolerance. I'm celiac, I am lactose intolerant, I'm this intolerant, I'm that intolerant. I think a lot of it is psychosomatic.
Didn't our elders have flatulence problems?
Yeah. But you look at a Guju meal, you go eat anything in Gujarat, they won't let you get up unless you fart or you burp. It's considered rude to let a guest get up unless they burp or they fart.
I'm reminded of that song from Lion King. Nobody
Yes.
stood downwind.
See, Krishna makes a very important point. He says, Castella jiggly cake. Yeah. So this Casutera cake, uh, it's called Castella, Castella, but they call it Castella cake. It's delicious. It's like the most jiggly cake around. You get it in Delhi, there's this place called Harajuku Tokyo Cafe. And you don't get Castella cake there, but you get Japanese jiggly cheesecake out there, and it is delicious.
Next one, please.
Alas, I can't eat it for the next month, 2 months at least.
You want to notionally hang on to that weight loss?
Yeah,
Kanda Batata wants to know, what do you think of Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center?
I think it's lovely. I went there. Uh, all my friends there, we're just happy that we finally have a world class cultural auditorium that's dedicated to something other than Bollywood, that's dedicated to modern arts and crafts and shows. In Madras and in Delhi, we used to have these things. There used to be the Sri Ram Auditorium in Delhi, still is. There, um there's the Music Academy and Narada Gana Sabha in Madras, um, but they're very old. This is absolutely new. It is fresh. I think it's the first building of its kind that's been built in India in the last 40, 50 years at least.
Next question, please. Arvind TSY wants to know, isn't it ironic that naive folks donate money to temple hundis and accept getting treated like shit within its premises, whereas rulers and trustees fight for the largest and get VIP treatment too?
So this isn't a reciprocal agreement where you pay money and get treated like a VIP. We have a VIP culture, which is separate. It as opposed to the trustees and things like that, which is a different issue. Uh, so I don't see what the connection here is, Arvind.
Viewers, we are about 1115 or so viewers, and we have about 400 likes. So if you could please kindly like this video, I would appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. Next question, please. Vamsi wants to know, do you think PLI scheme is paying off? Electronics export stands at $23 billion, up from $18 billion in fiscal year 22.
I think it is. I think it is. Let's see. See, we still don't have the deep industrialization and the deep manufacturing that China does. China goes from 0 to 70 to 80, right up to 100, in fact, past 100. We are doing it at a stage of, say, 35 to 60. The lower end, which is I think is absolutely critical as well, we're not doing.
I'll tell you one experience I've had about how good China is about these things. I was at a manufacturing line. We were against the gun. We had to ship a whole bunch of products for Christmas of 2001. I was in China 2 weeks after 9/11, going through a whole new, supercharged security and all that. So what happens is we are in the manufacturing line. We have a huge deadline. And then we're making these products, and then we come up against a requirement where, there's a spacer. It's called washer in India. Spacer,
Mm-hmm.
spacer, right?
Yeah.
So there was a slight mistake in the plastic die, which required us to use a spacer. Now, each product needed two spacers of a particular dimension and a particular thickness. We are in the middle of nowhere, some Dongguan province. In half an hour, the manager ran and got the exact spacer with, because manufacturing line, you got talking about thousands needed to be done. Everything was there in half an hour, and the retooled product was moving smooth. I was floored. This is
The
2001,
thing
21 years
is,
ago.
you will get, if you apply for a patent there, you will get it in a week. And a week is the outside limit. I know people who have gone and applied for patents and got it by the next day. Okay. Here, you have to sit and beg, scream, bribe, do whatever. It'll take 2, 3 years. And all kinds of queries, nonsense queries, when somebody else will come up with a patent for the same thing. Okay. So there is that basic thing which needs to be done, which nobody does. The kind of manufacturing depth we've seen, there is not a single stove, pressure cooker. I'm helping, I'm not going to tell you who, but I'm helping a certain manufacturer design certain kitchen products. We were going to see burners in China. Imagine we're not looking at it in India because everything is manufactured in China. We're going to China and we're looking at what they make and what they do. And what they do is fantastic. You get any kind of thing, every kind of thing. If you've imagined it, they've made it. And the thing is, it is so easy to find. It is not tough to look. If you find these business managers and tell them that this is what I want, they will find it for you within hours. They've got some kind of centralized database, index, whatever, in which it's very, very easy for them to find it. It's impossible to do that in India.
Rohit Shukla 417. Satikananda, don't tell me Mitra left smoking. Gave up smoking.
I've not given up. I told you before, I'm not a smoker. I am a hand holder. I need something in my hand, either Diet Coke or a cigarette or something like that. Because if you notice, I don't inhale the smoke at all. All of it comes out. Yeah, so 14
Mr.
days. Today's 14th or 15th day. Yeah, that I've been without smokes and I'm perfectly fine.
You haven't had any withdrawal symptoms, no headache, no
Withdrawal
nothing.
tab hoga if I'm addicted to nicotine. No,
Mm.
I'm addicted to the motion of my hands need something to do all the time, even when I'm doing something.
Mr. Bharani Chandar wants to know, what's your view on Ola and Uber paying their drivers? Last few months, drivers asked me to cancel the ride as driver refuse and pay cash for the ride because companies don't pay them properly.
Yeah, so this has happened quite a bit. As far as I can tell, it's been happening to a lot of my friends. And I've just set my default to cash on Ola and Uber. Because otherwise, it's a pointless conversation to have. And clearly, they're not paying them properly on several things. But, there is also this thing about the way they cheat you. So, for example, I was going from the airport in Madras back home, and Madras airport has obscene parking charges or Ola Uber coming in charges or whatever. So, this guy was asking me to pay extra because apparently Ola or Uber don't pay them. But apparently they do, because the fare showed that it was included in the thing. And I refused to pay him. I told him, you take a screenshot of this, and this is exactly the amount that I'm paying you.
Ishan Sharma wants to know, what are your views on the latest indictment of Trump? Don't you think with the way judiciary is treating him, he will once again be the president? If not him, someone whose ideology like him will be?
No, I think the Republicans are lost for good. I think the demographics have changed. This was actually predicted to me some 12, 15 years back by some Republican friends of mine on how they were losing the demographic battle. It doesn't matter what they do anymore. America has turned, see, this is the problem. When people like Hugo Chavez or things like that come to power, you get so addicted to state intervention and this and that that you keep voting them in. And that is what has happened to America. No, I think the Democrats are going to win this election again.
Read this book, guys. This explains why, what Abhijit just said. This is available in ebook form in India. You can buy the ebook. Much, much needed, because I'm afraid what he said is 10% right. I wrote it in 2020, late 2020, early 2021, right after the elections were done. Within 3 months of Biden becoming the president, I wrote this book, and 2022 played out exactly like 2020. Not a single hair out of place. What were the Republicans? They had 2 years to fix this thing, especially in states like Arizona, Nevada. These are the battleground states because that's where there is a 50-50 chance. Other places, it's totally skewed in one direction. Take California, for example. 75% of the Senate, Democrats. 75% of the Assembly, Democrats. They can overrule the governor. That's how bad it is in California. So what he's saying is right. However, I'm not so sure though. I'm hearing some other things, but let's see. At this day today, if you ask me, I say Democrats will come back to power. The question is who is going to be the presidential candidate. I have a feeling that Biden might get short-shifted. Rahul Rathod wants to know, will INC and other parties to appease Hindus in future if BJP continues to be in power for another 20-30 years at majority or with NDA alliance?
Look, technically, that is where the INC should be heading, because you can't outflank the BJP from the left anymore. The only way to outflank the BJP is from the right. But, as long as Rahul Gandhi is around, they can't execute that maneuver. It is what it is. They're going to die a slow, painful death. They're going to win Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Mark my words, they will. But that doesn't mean they're going to win the central election.
Next question, please. Poonam Abhi wants to know, he is following Bill Clinton, who said that he had used weed, saying that he smoked but never inhaled. This is you.
Yes, I know.
That is Mandahasa Punnagai. GCKP. Abhijit, how is your weight loss journey going? Are you still on Sattvic diet? If yes, how are you managing your protein intake?
So I don't know what protein I'm taking really, because it's mostly vegetables and things, but it's going very well. Like my everything's working really well inside the system, huh? So can't complain really.
Simple Life wants to know, Abhijit, it is sometimes argued that the survival of indigenous traditions is proof of the colonizer's good nature. I think it is a determination of the community, not colonizer. Your thoughts?
It is absolutely the determination of the community and not the colonizer. And I'll tell you why. The colonizer may play a limited role, but the colonizer is the same everywhere. Okay, so you look at the Turkish invasions. The Turks, wherever they went, they changed the religion, right? Why did they fail in India? Wherever Christians went, they ended up changing the religion. Why did they fail in India? India is the only one that sticks out from the rule. So it is not just the law of averages should tell you that when India is the one that bucks the trend both on Islam and Christianity, then there's something different about India and not about the colonizer.
Next question, please.
Though I have to tell you this, in Bengal, there is a tradition that we view the British as liberators initially. Because Sirajuddaullah's rule was so nasty, for us, it was better off being under Britain than it was under Sirajuddaulah.
Hey, have you read the book Insider by P.V. Narasimha Rao?
No.
Okay, so this kid was brilliant. I mean, he was way ahead of his classmate. Wherever he went, he was always easily the topper by a distance. So he goes to study in Warangal, which is one of the nearest towns from his village, and he's studying in an Arabic school, and he tops in Arabic, Urdu, Persian, everything. And the teacher says, no, 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 you're not Hindu. You are from some Lucknowi family. You just don't know that you are a Muslim. The guy just refused. His teacher would refuse to accept that a Hindu boy,
I
a
don't
Brahmin
think
boy at
that's
that.
realistic
No, no, he
because
wrote it in his book. He wrote
yeah,
it in
but
his book.
that's no. And he might have written it, but that's not realistic because there were a lot of Hindus who were way better than Muslims at Persian and Arabic and things like that. So I'm sorry,
We are
that's
talking about a small. Listen, this is talking about a small town in Warangal, which
whatever
is
it is, but
under
it's
Nizam's
statistically it is simply
occupation.
not accurate. Shri. It is simply not
No,
accurate.
no,
You
no.
can't.
Look, look, look. All I'm trying to say is he wrote it in his book that the guy. What I'm saying is a mindset that somehow somebody thinks that the the Hindu cannot be capable of being able to learn that. There was that mindset. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
Next one. Guts the black swordsman. Why is it that our government take up the worst aspects of everything, be it urban development, political ideologies, etc., and why does the Indian system love being annoyingly mediocre?
Because you have second raters at the helm. This is the Donald Rumsfeld principle. A chooses A, B chooses C. A first class person will choose another first class person because they're shorn of insecurity. A second class person will choose a third class person because they're fundamentally insecure. Across the board, you see this.
Abhishek wants to know, sir, what view did Nazi have towards religion as they were atheist? And is it true that Vatican was
No, they were
also
not
involved in?
atheist. They were not atheist.
What about the crystal knot?
Hmm?
Did they burn Bible there?
Yeah, but that doesn't make them atheist. They believed in all these Eastern mystical mumbo jumbo thing, Tibet and this and that. They basically wanted to create a new religion.
You're talking about what Thule Society, inspiration from that?
Hmm?
Thule, Thule. That's where he
No,
got
no,
the
no,
hook and
no, no,
cross
no, no.
also.
No, no, no. This is they were looking at Buddhism, Hinduism, different kinds of things to create their own religion. They wanted some kind of a proto Indo-European religion kind of thing. I mean,
Next
we
question,
don't know what
please.
it would have morphed towards, but
Hmm, hmm.
they could never forgive Jesus for being a Jew. I mean, you can't gas
And
off while worshipping a Jew, right? And there was
I
no way
think
you could get away from the fact that he was a Jew.
there's also an interesting show, and I think it's on Netflix, The Man from the High Castle, which predicts what would have happened if the Nazis had won World War II. Have
Okay,
you
so
seen that
I don't like that. I don't like all these alternate history things because they're just
movie?
boring as hell. I mean, it's great as an alternate setting, but they just
Yeah, I
irritate
have
the
not
living.
watched it either. I just wanted to mention that. That's all. Next one, please. You Rose, thank you so much. Why should India trust US defense companies when they have a habit of squeezing out the American taxpayer by charging 10 times for parts and services? Thoughts on the F414 jet deal?
Mm, I don't know if they're squeezing out the American taxpayer, but I can tell you one thing: American weapons are deadly effective. Price per dollar or bang for buck, as it's called in the business, is fantastic on American weapons. Hmm? Never doubt that. Whatever you're paying, you're getting your money's worth. 401 jet engine deal. Let's see. See, I don't. This is the kind of governmental incompetence that I've been railing about. They chose the Rafale because we were meant to get SNECMA engines, and those SNECMA engines were meant to become the core of our AMCA and whatnot. Now they want F414. Which one are you going for? Are you going to go for the SNECMA engines? Are you going to go for the 414 engines? What the hell are you going to go for? Rolls Royce offered you the entire technology. You said no. Then you went in for a Rafale deal claiming that you wanted the SNECMA engine technology because it was strategic. Now you don't want that. Now you want another third engine. They can't even make up their mind on what the hell they want. Incompetent government, thoroughly incompetent government. And
Why did
thoughts
they
on the
turn away from Rolls Royce? That's one of the best engines.
it is, but they didn't want it. And now they've, like idiots, they've gone and blacklisted Rolls Royce because obviously somebody's gone and the process of blacklisting is very opaque. Some babu wants to make money, so he'll blacklist you, and unless you give his son admission in some university here or there, they will keep you on the blacklist and shit like that. Okay. Now, what is happening with the 414 deal is, we had asked for 70% technology transfer. The Americans came up with 78% technology transfer. 78% in terms of manufacturing, but in terms of the actual value, it is only about 28 to 30%. The core part of it, about 70% of the technology by value, which is the crystal blade, the single crystal blade, they're not giving it to you. You will hear lots of bullshit about this. They will claim a big milestone, this, that, da, 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 da. It's crock shit.
Abhijit Sudhakar, thank you so much. Weren't Meiji Restoration meant to remove the class and caste so that Japan becomes industrialized? How can they still have caste system?
No, it was never about removing class and caste. It was never about removing class and caste. It was about removing feudal power and centralizing it in one government. Because remember, after Tokugawa Ieyasu unified Japan finally, following on from Hideyori and Oda Nobunaga, what happens is that Japan had become re-feudalized in a sense. Power had dissipated to many different power factions and things like that. There was the whole samurai system where each lord had its own army and things like that. They crushed all of that, brought it under a centralized government, and shoved reforms down everybody's throats. Now, the process of industrialization that began then had an impact on caste and class and hierarchies and things like that, like all industrialization does everywhere. But caste in Japan did not go away. I had a friend who was a butcher. When we used to go to friends' houses, they'd say, "Oh, don't bring that guy." Why? Because he's a butcher. He works on killing. He works with animals. In India, you would never say that. It's that bad in Japan. They would actually tell people, "Don't bring them here because, they are leather tanners or butchers or undertakers and things like that." And this is when I dealt with the Japan market in 2003, 4 to about 6. Yeah, 6, 5, 6. Yeah. It's as recent as that. So caste is still very important. Caste is what led to the Yakuza. The Yakuza were all the dispossessed castes who then formed these brotherhoods for self-protection because they were oppressed. Japanese caste still exists. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it is still a very pervasive part of society.
Next question, please. Psycho Tormentor, thank you so much. Where is Ram Madhav? Is he sidelined by the High Command?
No, last I checked, I met him in Bangladesh. He invited me to a conference in Bangladesh. He's doing great guns.
OB149. I don't know what that means. Obi Kano 1 Kanobi, maybe. Thank you so much. Since Sagar is your friend, what are his opinions about these false India Modi narratives? One lady on his show has done similar pieces, not Crystal.
Yeah, look, he allows his staff editorial freedom to do what they want. He doesn't interfere in their job. It's that simple. He disagrees with them. They have editorial meetings where he disagrees with them vehemently. But he is coming to India next month. He's going to be in Delhi on the 6th and 7th of July. So he's going to be having meetings with the government. So, uh, you'll see all the grievances aired to him directly, and let's see how he responds. But he pushes back with his staff. That said, he does not control their content. He does not
And
believe
that's how
as a.
it should be, Abhijit.
That's
That's how it
exactly,
should
that's how
be.
it should.
Yeah. That's how,
Exactly.
I mean, I have the same rule. I don't control what, if I have a guest
Exactly.
host, it's up to them what they want to do. Absolutely. Yeah.
Damn straight.
Yeah. Next one, please. Avinash Naik, thanks for becoming a member. Abhijit Sudhakar, thank you so much. Vivek Ramaswamy talks about shutting down FBI and Department of Education. Do you think it's a good policy? If it is, then is it good election campaign?
Yes, I think it's at the level today where the Department of Education has too much. It is overstaffed. It needs to be cut down to a simple syllabus development board, and that's about it. It's local communities that need to look after their own schools. Shutting down the FBI, excellent idea. Again, it is overbloated. Remember, it was the most awfully, it was ab initio, it was a corrupt body. You need to read about J. Edgar Hoover, a corrupt, he was himself the head of the mafia. There wasn't a single mafia guy he wasn't involved with, and he was the guy responsible for investigating them. He had compromat on all the presidents and used to blackmail the presidents. And the FBI building is called the J. Edgar Hoover building. Having the FBI in a building called J. Edgar Hoover building is like having the UN Human Rights Commission in the Adolf Hitler building. So it is a rotten, corrupt organization. It needs to go. Its functions need to be subsumed, streamlined, and subsumed into a completely new body.
Psycho Tormentor, thank you so much. Your take on Northeastern food, especially Khasi and Naga style.
I personally love it, boss. I think it's extremely fresh. I think it's very different techniques from the rest of India. I love the kind of salads. I love the way they cook their meats. The sheer simplicity of their vegetables, which you can actually taste the vegetables and things. I love Northeast food, but it's very strange that it's only really picked up in Delhi and nowhere else. Like in Delhi, Northeast food is a big rage, but it doesn't seem to be a thing anywhere else. But Momo is kind of Tibetanish. But Northeast food doesn't seem to have taken off anywhere except in Delhi, which is really quite sad.
Utsav, thank you. Why Indian passport ranking so poor? Why Indian government does take back illegal migrants or take action against fake agents promising visa?
Boss, we're a enforcement deficit state. How many times have I told you this on this program, Utsav? It's that simple. And even when they do their due diligence, there's nothing you can do if a guy goes off and decides not to come back. There was the governor of Mizoram's army general. His aide de camp, a guy called Sheriff Bhosle, and they gave him a Schengen visa because they thought, boss, this guy he's the ADC to a governor. How serving in a paro commando unit of the army, how is he going to run away? He goes off to Spain for some holiday. He never comes back. He's gone absconding. What are you going to do with somebody like that? The Europeans have searched for him. Everybody searched for him. Nobody knows where he is.
Glazers out. Thank you so much. Do cigarettes really kill you?
Yeah, 100%.
Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskar. Raga seems to be sidelined in the opposition leadership space. Is it possible that he is lobbying with Soros for getting that space back? If Soros so wishes, can he get the opposition to accept Raga as the leader?
Yeah, he can. Look, he's never going to get the opposition to accept him as their leader. Not one of them can stand him personally. Not one. Nobody has a personal rapport with him. He only makes... Look, all these leaders are achievers in their own rights. When they see a nobody who's propped up by other people, who's essentially a deadweight baggage on his own party, do you think anybody is going to agree to make a deadweight like that leader? Who thinks he's their equal? Mamata Banerjee is a self-made woman. It wasn't the Congress that got rid of the CPI in Bengal. It was Mamata Banerjee who did that through her own power. Jagan Reddy came up all because of himself. He got kicked out. The Congress was trying to go after him for staking his claim to leadership. No, and he won the election on his own right. TSR won it on his own right. Naveen Patnaik has won it on his own right. Stalin has won it on his own right. Pinarayi Vijayan wins it on his own right. Plus the fact, of course, that Rahul is so useless that it's the first time in 70 years that the incumbent government has come back to power in Kerala. DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah are the ones who led to the victory in Karnataka. Who is going to accept all of you are A-raters, and suddenly you see a D-rater come there claiming that he's your equal? Are you going to accept him as your equal? No. Now, is he trying for that space? Yes. He's the only one that seems to get international traction because he is able to talk to them in a way that these other guys are not able to talk to them. He can use the idiom and the nuance of the West. So he's basically making a chutia out of Soros. And if it becomes a black hole into which Soros wants to pay his money, I'm very happy for it. Because anybody who takes away Soros money, who wastes, who burns Soros's money in diminishing return investments, I 100% support that.
Next question, please. Girija Narayan wants to know, you have lost weight, Abhijit. Glowing you are.
Thank you.
Push wants to know, would Modi be ready to lead as PM in case BJP forms a coalition?
Yeah. The question is, will the coalition want Modi to lead?
Rajesh wants to know, besides Charvaka, which other Hindu school of thought fascinates you and why?
They don't fascinate me. I've never been much into philosophy. Theologically, I know what the broad theological arguments are. So it's like, it used to be my inquiry for quite a few years, and now I moved on. I have no more time for theology anymore.
Next question, please. Pravar Chaturvedi wants to know, my extended family in Madhya Pradesh is politically connected and there are discussions happening regarding Congress going to win big in MP this time.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Maliban Bhattacharya wants to know, first question, what do you think about the idea of redesigning Indian cities with infrastructure that supports the climatic conditions of those cities?
It's very important. How many times have I spoken about this? Climatic conditions. Look, something very simple. Like in Delhi, for example, generally in India, you need at least 6 to 7 foot balconies all around, wrap around, so that the sun doesn't fall direct, because our winters are very short. They last for 4 months at best. Okay. Your summers are brutal. You need 6 to 7 foot balconies. You need the size of your cities to reduce and for them to grow vertically, so that your mass transit and the sort of heat pan effect, because cities tend to produce a lot more heat. They radiate a lot more heat because of polished surfaces and things like that. That needs to be reduced. But who's doing it? Delhi, I want you again, I've told you this before, Malyabhan, I want all of you again to go watch that podcast that Shaili Hingorani and Ruben Abraham did with Kushal on Indian urban development. Some of the plans we've seen for Delhi, you can reduce the size of Delhi to 10% of what it is, while increasing the standard of living obscenely and reducing the expenses while providing a much first world level of services at 1/10 the cost.
Have you traveled in metro lately in Delhi?
No, God, no. It's a nightmare.
No, it's full. That means that people have taken to metro like a fish to water.
Congratulations, but it's a nightmare for me. If it's full, it means you're not doing it very well. You need to have a lot more trains.
Oh, that they're building out the things, right? I mean, it's still going on.
Yeah, well,
Delhi has the most extensive metro network today.
it does. And the thing is, even there, in spite of having, you look at the new RK Puram metro station that opened. First of all, I don't know how they label them RK Puram this and that, because the 𝙤𝙗𝙗 metro station isn't in 𝙤𝙗𝙗, it is in Sarvapriya Vihar. The RK Puram metro station isn't in RK Puram, it is in Deer Park. So I don't know how they give names. They also put the metro stations in the middle of nowhere where there is no connectivity or anything. So you're dependent then on autos. What is the point of having metro stations like this?
Next
And then those
question.
autos become traffic jam points.
Thank you,
They've still
Divyanshu.
not learned. They've still not
Right.
learned.
Thank you, Divyanshu. Don't you think that we should give credit to Congress's brilliance in Karnataka? People were ridiculing them for Bajrang Dal fiasco, but they fooled the BJP.
No, they didn't fool the BJP. If you have somebody like Bommai, who is Bommai? What is Bommai? Why is Bommai? He's a nobody. Siddaramaiah is a mass leader. This is like standing up Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary as your prime ministerial candidate against Narendra Modi. Who do you think is going to win? That is your Bommai versus this thing. This thing. Everybody knew that Bommai isn't going to work. They were all praying, but anyway.
Psycho Tormentor, thank you so much. What's Indian Navy's obsession with aircraft carriers if India doesn't have any expeditionary ambitions? Why did it
Thank.
take them? Or let's go with that first.
Boss, I think I answered this question last time also, no? They basically, this is, there's a saying that the guys with the smallest penises have the biggest cars. It's like that. You'll see all the Americans with biggest pickup trucks have the smallest penises. It's a psychological compensation mechanism. That's exactly what your aircraft carriers are. You look at all the countries with big air forces, the Emirates, Pakistan, China, Saudi Arabia. Is it enough to do, or Singapore? Is it enough to do power projection against them? No, they'll sink you within hours. Is it, so who are you going to use it against? Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius, Seychelles, Madagascar, Tanzania, Somalia, Kiribati and Nauru in the Pacific Ocean. Really? I've never understood this aircraft carrier obsession, but look, people with small penises will always have these issues.
Next question, please. Avinash Nayak wants to know why democracy didn't become famous in historic days. Only pockets here and there were present.
What do you mean become famous? Systems of government don't become famous. They develop because they're suitable or they're unsuitable. It's that simple. Democracy comes about the smaller the state, the greater the democratization. City states will tend to be democratic. You will have some kind of panchayat and things like that. Larger state will be, or where everybody is kind of equal, where the wealth capture is less. In Greece, it developed because you did not have extreme. The Bronze Age was an age of extreme wealth capture. The Iron Age was an evening out, which is why Egypt ceases to be a great power once the Iron Age begins. All the great pharaohs you know about were all Bronze Age pharaohs. So that wealth capture you see in the Bronze Age, it is no longer there in the Iron Age. In Greece, more so, because in Greece, the palace economy of places like in Minoan, Crete, whatever, Knossos, Argos, Tiryns, Mycenae, and all those places, it was a concentrated palace economy with complete resource capture. Okay, so it didn't suit Bronze Age, this thing. But in a city state in Iron Age Greece, where everybody's kind of equally wealthy kind of thing, you really couldn't have the emergence of too much wealth capture, which is why across the board, even in a non-democratic place like Sparta, you had more or less equality amongst the people. So it was one of those things where, you know, it just developed as a natural method of sorting out differences. The industrial age leads to democracy because it leads to a great increase in wealth. So again, the less the resource capture, the greater your chances of developing democracy. But it's not fashionable or famousness that leads to it.
With that, we bring to a close today's program. Thank you so much, Abhijit. And if you have not subscribed already to our channel, viewers, please do consider subscribing. Your enthusiasm, your support is what keeps us going and keeps Abhijit coming to our show. The next show is going to be episode number 100. I'm sure Abhijit has some rabbit planned for that event. I don't know what it is. I'm sure he's going to reveal it to me maybe before the program. I don't know that also. Thank you once again, Abhijit. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Hari Om.
Harihi Om.
Hari